Hello everyone and welcome back to Make a Website Lessons on Codecademy. So in the last lesson we finished with the section on organizing elements on a web page or HTML elements on a web page, and today we're going to be starting to learn about Bootstrap. So let's get straight into it. So what is Bootstrap? Bootstrap is a popular CSS framework with pre-written CSS rules designed to help you build web pages faster. Instructions. Take a look at the web browser. In this lesson, we will build this web page up from scratch using a combination of Bootstrap and custom CSS. Basically, when things are pre-made for you, it's much better than you having to make it for yourself because they are usually made the most efficient and most effective and proven to be the best. So if you can use something pre-made for you, you should use it, unless it doesn't fit in with the criteria that you want. So we're going to be making this website. Or web page actually, sorry. Also, in this lesson we will encounter 3 new HTML elements: header, footer, and section. So header is used to organize headers on a web page, footer used to organize footers on a web page, and section defines sections on a web page. So header and footer, you might know about them from using things like Microsoft Word, when they're at the top, usually top right, or footer, bottom, sometimes bottom left, sometimes bottom right. You might see page numbers being put at the bottom right or something like that in the footer. And then section, it's just sections. So let's have a look at this web page that we're going to be building. Let's see what there is. So we have like a nav bar here. We have the title, we have an image that welcomes us. Then when we click the button, we can notice that a slight shade appears at the top of it. I'm not too sure how noticeable that is on your screens, but hopefully it's noticeable enough. The images are arranged quite nicely with given subtitles. And also, when we hover over this button, when it hasn't been previously clicked, the text goes black, and when we click it, another shade appears again. We currently cannot click these, but that doesn't matter, we can make them clickable later on if we want to. So now that we've seen what we're going to be building and explored it, let's actually start building it. So before Bootstrap can work for us, we need to link to it. In earlier lessons we linked only to main CSS. Now, in addition to main CSS, we will link to a URL that hosts Bootstrap. The HTML link element makes Bootstrap available for us. Remember that the link element is typically contained within HTML head tags. So the link element, we've learned before, can be used to link JavaScript code or CSS code to the HTML code. It allows you to use things together. So a code like this, so within the head tags you have the link tag and its self-closing tag, which we can see from the slash being put before the closing crocodile bracket or greater than, whatever you want to call it. Above, the href attribute is set to the URL, to that URL, and that's where you get Bootstrap from. Let's explore what Bootstrap can do for us. Notice the Skillfare web page to the right and locate the diagonal arrows in the top right corner of the web browser. Yep. Click the arrows to toggle the web browser between narrow and full width views and observe the following. Navbar items do not change position as you toggle the web page width. So basically these stay there all the time. They always stay to the left next to the title. In this case anyway, this is slightly changed from what we originally saw. They always stay there. But that might not be the best thing to have. It might be, but in this case it's not going to be. So the homemade goods text appears on the far left side of the web page. So this always appears on the left, even if it's small or big, along with this year's best and see all. Photographs increase in size when the web browser is toggled to full width, so that's kind of good because it means that on different devices you will see the images full. So you will see full images even if you are on a phone and you didn't have to go all around or zooming out. Social media icons at the bottom of the web page appear disorganized, so they kind of overlap each other or are too close to each other, which we don't really want to happen. So what can we do about this? Now that we have connected Bootstrap, now we will connect Bootstrap, sorry, and see changes to the web page layout. In the index.html, locate the head element. So head closes there, opens there. There's a nice space there for us, that's good. Inside head, create a link element to link to Bootstrap. So let's do this real quick. I think it's, yep, it's a /, just making sure. Link rel, so basically you can just copy this. And you will normally do this even if you were coding, because you're probably not going to remember this massive link. Let's just get that out of the way. Click run. Okay, now we have linked Bootstrap to HTML. Toggle the web browser's width again to notice the following changes. So navbar items change position based on the web page's width. So those now appear kind of to the right, but when we make it smaller, we can still see them, even though when we go bigger, they're to the right, which is good. The homemade goods text is now centered, so instead of being to the left and looking all wonky, it's now in the middle. Kitchen, woodwork, antique, and gifts paragraphs, so photographs, sorry, are arranged 2 per row when the web page is full width. So that looks much nicer. We have the main picture or image, photograph, whatever you want to call it, and then we have the sub photographs, I guess. And also the last thing, social media icons appear organized and change positions at full and narrow widths. So this is at narrow width, at full width they are on the right, just like our navbar. But they're in the footer and the navbar is probably in the header. So Bootstrap's grid is responsible for this screen width responsiveness. Click next to learn more. So one of the reasons Bootstrap and frameworks like it are so popular is because they offer grids. A grid is like a table, just think of it like that. A grid makes it possible to organize HTML elements using pre-configured columns. Using a grid, you can customize responsive page layouts quickly and reliably. The Bootstrap grid contains 12 equal-sized columns, as seen in the diagram on the right. HTML elements are arranged to span different numbers of columns in order to create custom page layouts. So we have container, jumbotron, that. So that's 3, 6, 7, 8. All of them are contained in one thing. And then there are those columns in between. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So in the diagram, observe the following. Bootstrap's grid columns are represented by 12 vertical bars, the one I just counted. The boxes represent HTML elements. The word container, jumbotron, column SM6 or whatever that's supposed to stand for, call SM3 refer to Bootstrap cases, or classes, excuse me. The element with class jumbotron, so this one, spans the entire width of the web page beyond the borders of the grid. Elements inside the second container, so this one, such as call SM6 and call SM3 are contained within the grid columns. As you can see, they're within the columns here, whereas jumbotron is outside. Elements labeled call SM3 take up 3 grid columns, and elements labeled call SM6 take up 6 grid columns. So these take up 6 and these take up 3. Take a moment to familiarize yourself with Bootstrap's grid, then click next to continue. So before I end off this video, I also want to tell you that there are 12 vertical bars. 12 is a very good number. If you want to do more research into it, you can. Basically, it's divisible by a lot of numbers. It's obviously divisible by 1, It's divisible by 2, it's divisible by 3, it's divisible by 4, it's divisible by 6, and it's also divisible by 12, obviously. So it's a very good number to have 12 vertical bars. And I will end it off on that. So if you guys enjoyed this video, obviously we're going to be continuing in the next lesson with Bootstrap. Then do make sure to give it a like, share and subscribe. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments down below. I will answer them as soon as possible. If you didn't like this video though, do feel free to give it a dislike and tell me how I can improve for next time. But until that next time, thank you so much for watching and goodbye.